Hey y'all, it's Diane with Shellcraft One in my old barn door, and a lot of people have asked to see my final results from my coffee dyed papers that I did. So I thought I would do a quick video and show you the papers, and if we have time, I may make this a short video and just show you the papers, but if we have time, we may make something with it, because I've had several people asking me to, show the papers and then make something with it. So we'll see how it goes and get there. So first off, I have this big, huge box of coffee dyed papers. It doesn't even fit in the frame, so I got a lot from it. So I did some 11 by 14 papers, 8.5 by 11 papers here. These are the composition notebook papers. These are ones that got really dark. And then, let's see. These are some ones that didn't get as dark, so I kind of separated those. And then we have the grid paper. So I'm going to pull a few sheets out of each one because I have them kind of organized, and just kind of show you what I did with them. Okay, so let's see. These are ones that I didn't put in the oven. I have these little stencils. I'll show you the stencils. Well, it's actually not a stencil. This is like a plastic tablecloth, okay? So I just kind of laid this on some parchment paper, spread some coffee over it, and the trick is to pick this up, put it on another parchment sheet after you put the coffee on it, because if you don't, you're just going to get a globby mess. Let me see if I can find one. I think I've used them all. But it'll just kind of glob up. You won't get as good of a design as if you lay it on your parchment paper, paint your coffee over it, pick it up, put it on another parchment sheet, and then what I did is I took my paper and I just laid it down on top of it and rubbed it to get this design. Okay, so that's how I did those. And then, so I'll show you, and you don't get a perfect image, but I like the look of this. And if you need, like a page that's a little lighter, that is a better way, or a good way to do it. Okay, so I have those. Then these are just the ones that I didn't put any designs on at all. I just coffee dyed them. So you can see, and I love how some of the tips pick up more coffee than some of the others. It's according to how it's laying in the pan, I think. So hopefully y'all can see these okay. I think you can. I'll zoom in just a little. There we go. So these are, I've separated these into like lighter pages and then some of the more grungy pages. So these are the lighter ones. And you can see here where I had a doily laying, where it gave me a little bit of an imprint there. Okay, so there's those. And as you can see here, it's got a little bit of a doily print, and that's from where I laid these in the oven, coffee dyed them, brushed over the coffee, and then laid a doily on top, brushed the coffee over it, laid some more paper on top, and I just kept layering it like that. Okay, so there's those. Let me find some of the more grungy ones of these to show you. Okay, let's see. All right, these are some of the more grungy ones that I did. And they're not super grungy. But I didn't get a whole lot of really grungy ones out of this, but I love how it did, and it's got a little bit of the doily imprint. Hopefully you can see that, but you can see, yeah. So I like, a lot of times I like to do some that are darker and a little more grungy. All right, and then this one's a little bit darker than the other ones. And then these are the ones that I started putting, like I have a small pan that has the holes in it. And so, you know, when you fold that up, you have a cool little design if you want to, you know, make a journal page out of it. This one, I don't know if you can really see because this is a very light imprint. But what I did is I took that plastic tablecloth and I brushed over it while it was just white paper. I let that dry, and then I turned it over and I brushed coffee on the back side. And then I put it in the oven to dry it. And this is what I got with it. And I love how it turned out. So I've got several sheets of that. There's one with the circles. There's one with the circles. And I have a bigger circle pan. You'll see some of those in a minute. And some of them, I just, you know, when I stack these on my parchment paper, there's the one with the grid lines. When I stack these onto the parchment paper to put them in the oven, sometimes only a partial part of the sheet will be on that grid pan or the circle pan to get the marks. And I like the way that turns out. This is that other pan that just had the lines. And so, you know, if you fold this and wanted to journal on this, you could actually use those lines to journal. So there's a couple with the lines. Love this one. And this one is a very different texture. Not really sure how I got it like this, but I do love the way it turned out. And you can see here, you've got just a little bit of those grid lines. You've got some grunginess here and here on the side. So this is one of my favorite sheets. Again, this is another one of those that I put the doily or the plastic tablecloth on while it was white and, you know, brush that coffee. No, I take it back. I had another plastic doily or a plastic stencil. So I got that. This one, again, I really like the way this turned out, and it has a very different texture to it. Love, love, love this one. Look at how grungy that one came out. And I love the grunginess of this one. Okay, so I'm not going to show you all of this. And now look, this is from, I had it on the grid pan in the oven. And then when I took it out of the oven, I laid it on top. I laid the whole parchment sheet on top of my oven. And it sat there for a little bit. And this is from that back left eye where the oven vents, you know, and lets out the heat. And so I got that mark. And I think it's really, really cool. I really like the way that one turned out. Let me see if there's any more that I wanted. Oh, this one. I got this one. I love the way that one turned out. Look how yummy and grungy that one came out. Just trying to see if there were any other. See those? I love the way those came out. And then I think these are the ones that are a little more grungy. Look how grungy those turned out. I love that. Yum. I don't know. I might scan some of these into my computer so that I can use them in digitals. What do y'all think? Look how yummy and grungy those are. Look at this one. Yum. Isn't that awesome? And it's a really good texture. All right, so these are the 11 by 14 sheets. Let me grab some of the other ones. Hang on. Okay, so these are the ones from the composition notebook. I'm going to zoom back out so you can see a little better. These are from the composition notebook that I did all together. Like I did it the whole book at one time and just dipped it into the little tub. And so I love how these turned out. These ones are a little more dark and grungy. And you can see here how, you know, you get some weaknesses in the spine of the page. But you can either tear this in half and fold it in half and make this, you know, make it a page like this size. Or you can put a pretty piece of paper or, you know, something down through the center there just to reinforce your spine. Or even fabric. I mean, you can get creative and pretty much do whatever you want. See, this one's really dark and grungy. And I was worried that the paper might be, it is a little bit brittle, but not super brittle. Like, it's not going to just rip on you, you know, if you tug on it or whatever. All right, and then these are the lighter ones that I got from that. But some of them, I love how some sides are a little more grungy than the other sides. So there's a few of those. And I love how, see, I really like how sometimes it leaves a little white spot in the center. And then this one's got a little bit of design on it. Let me scoop some of these out of the way so that we can see. Okay, and then this one again right here from the stove eye. You know, it got that little circle pattern. I thought that was pretty cool. Got the little, let's see if you can see that okay, but you got the little patterns from that other pan. And I love how some of them, you know, when the lines fade, it turns green with the coffee dye mixed with that, the color of the lines. That's a good grungy one. This one is really grungy. And, of course, you know, that came apart. But, again, you can break it in half and fold it in half and use it as a page like that. Or you can reinforce the spine of the page. You know, because we don't always make journals this size. I mean, this is the size of a composition notebook page. So, most of the time I fold those in half anyway. Now, this one is from the, like the little diamond shaped pattern pan. Like this one. Kind of like these. And I love that, you know, you don't get the pattern all over. I don't want it to look uniform. I want it to just look very random. But if you wanted it to, see this one broke in half, but I love that. And I love how the pattern's not straight. You know, it's a different orientation. But you can do it however you want to. This is just the way I like mine to look. See, there's one with the polka dots. There's one with the polka dots or circles, whatever you want to call them. All right, so let me grab the grid papers. Let's see, because I did the composition notebook all as a whole book, and then I did a graph paper book as a whole book. So here's the graph paper. Here's what it turned out looking like. And again, sometimes you may have to reinforce that spine. This one broke in half, but I love the designs that we got in it. Okay, these are from the composition notebook. I've got them mixed in. There we go. There's the grid ones. Okay. And I love how some of them are really grungy. And again, you get some of the centers left. I love, you know, just having little bits and pieces of the centers left. I hope I'm not going too fast. I'm just trying to not let this video be, you know, forever long looking at paper. I don't want to bore y'all to death. There's one with the lines. Here's one with those little, I don't even know what those shapes are called. Whirly shapes, I guess, or swirly. They're not really swirly, though. That one has some of the diamond shapes on it. This one you can see really good with the diamond shapes. And I love how it's just random on this page with those shapes. And then here, I love this. It's yummy and grungy. Okay, so that is the graph paper. And then I'll show you just a couple of pieces real quick of just the 8.5 by 11 sheets. Hang on, let me grab them. Okay, these are just the regular coffee dyed ones. And, you know, some of them have the shapes on them. Some of them are a little more grungy than others. So So there's the few of the plain ones. Let me get to the ones with patterns on them. Okay, so you have some that are patterned. I love the way the back of that turned out. These are the ones with just the lines. Some polka dot ones, and I love how light this is with the dots. This was from the muffin pan. Y'all remember when we did the muffin pan? So very lightly, you can just see the little circles, but it just gives you enough of a shape in there. And you can see it on the back side too. This was the one we tore with the larger part of the muffin pan, but I'm still going to be able to use this for, like, you know, backing tags and things like that. Here's some of the circles. Let's see. We've got plenty with the circles. Just trying to get through this. I love how that one turned out. This is from the circle pan too, but it actually has a good texture to it. That's from the muffin pan. I don't know if you can see the circles in there, but just light enough to know that you have a design. Look how nice and grungy that one turned out. Check this one out. This is one of the ones that I put the stencil over while the paper was white and rubbed in the coffee on it, and then coffee dyed the back of it. And it has a texture too. I don't know if you can tell, but because you've pressed down over that stencil, you know, you've indented the paper with that design. So it's pretty neat. There's another one like that. There's another one from a different stencil. Hopefully you can see the design. There's one. So I've got a few of those. Oh, look at that one. That's a good one with the circles. Very good design. Okay. Circles. I'm going to rush through these because I still have to show you all of the little stuff that I did. So I'm just going to kind of flip through there and let you kind of see what we got. We got some fun stuff, y'all. And then we get to the really grungy ones. Like that one. Yum. Nice and grungy. It's got a good texture to it. Good grunge on that one and that one. And look how grungy this one is. This one is one of the ones that sit at the bottom of the pan where I have the rust and I don't wash it, so I can keep whatever's on, you know, on there to make marks on my paper. So I don't wash my coffee dyeing pans. So I don't use them for anything but coffee dyeing, so that's okay. This one has an awesome texture. And look how nice and grungy that one is. And this one. I love this one. I'm probably gonna scan that one. So anyways, yeah, don't wash your coffee dyeing pans. If you can, you know, designate pans just specifically for that, then you can leave them dirty because it will give you different designs when you come back the next time to dye them. Okay, so those are the pages. Let me grab all the goodies like the sacks and the index cards and things like that that I dyed, and I'll show you all those real quick. Hang on. Okay, so I have a whole little basket of goodies here that I've coffee dyed. So I did some time cards. I got these from Selena at Amore Fabrics. So I coffee dyed some of them. Some of them are really nice and grungy. Look at that. And then some of them are just barely. This is one of the ones where I just put the stencil over it with the coffee on it. Okay, so we got time cards. And then I had some white lunch sacks. And so I just coffee dyed these because I like to fold these up and make pockets with them and decorate them. So sometimes I need coffee dyed ones. Sometimes I'll just like using just the plain white ones. But then sometimes I need coffee dyed ones. Okay, and then I had this one decorative that I really didn't think I would use the sack, and I thought, well, let's coffee dye it and see if that will encourage me to use it. Now it's super cute, so I'll probably definitely use it. Then I had only a couple of these long skinny sacks left, so I thought I'm going to go ahead and coffee dye those so that I can get those used up. And then I had some sacks from my pharmacy, and I like using these too because you can, you know, you can fold these up and make yourself a double pocket and decorate them, and you don't have to worry about seeing what's printed on there. Or you can use them like this and just collage over them. Okay, and then I had teeny tiny little white sack, and I put it on one of the circle pans. So on one side it's plain, and on the other side you get the circles. And then I had another even smaller little teeny tiny sack that I coffee dyed. Then I had some of these blue and white sacks, and I took just a few of them and coffee dyed those, and some of them, you know, I got patterns on, and some of them I didn't. But that just kind of gives me a variety. And then I had, these are just little glassine ones that I didn't put these in the oven. I just used the stencil or just brushed coffee on them and let them dry on their own, because they're just so thin. I just don't trust them, you know, to not melt away in the in the oven. Okay, and then a sweet friend of mine sent me a Happy Meal with a little booklet of these in it. So, and these, I don't know if you can tell, but they're perforated. So you can use them as a single one, or you can use them as a sheet. So those will be fun to play with. Here's some of my coffee dyed guest checks. And some of them have the designs on them. So we'll decorate some of these in some coming videos. Some of them have the designs and some of them don't. So there's the guest checks. And then I had some guest checks and some index cards that I just did the stenciling on. Oops. So, you know, it just gives me a little bit of a coffee dyed design, but not the whole thing. And I like the way those turned out. And then here's some of the index cards that I did that way. Super cool. They turned out really neat. You know, and then you can collage on these or decorate them or whatever you want to do. You can even write on them. I mean, you can journal over the top of that coffee dyeing. So there's those. And then, let's see. I have some of the smaller index cards that I did coffee dyeing on, and some of them got more grungy than others, which is, you know, the fun of coffee dyeing. And then I had just some plain, little bit larger size index cards that I coffee dyed. And so that's how those turned out. So yeah, that is the results from all of our hard work coffee dyeing. And I hope you've had fun with it, and I hope you got some. Oh, and then also, I know I showed this in another video, but I'll go ahead and show it again. This is the book, the Reader's Digest book that I did. Hang on, let me sit that out of the way. So I'll just kind of quickly flip through and show you. See how you don't get the whole page? I like it. And then some pages, the whole page is dyed, but then some pages you just get the edges. So this gives you, you know, when you do it this way, it kind of gives you a variety of different types of coffee dyed papers, you know, or coffee dyed book pages that you can use for different things. So I like how this turned out. And this book, it just sits up on my desk over here in the corner, and I can just grab it at, you know, at will. So yeah, those are all of my coffee dyed papers. Those are the results that we got from our coffee dyeing fun. I think I'm going to cut the video here, and I'll come back in the next video, and we'll make some things with our coffee dyed items. So I think the first one I'll do is coffee dyed page, just the pages. So we'll figure out some different things we can do with those coffee dyed pages. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Leave any comments or questions you have in the comment box below. And I hope you have a great day. Big hugs.